So one of the responsibilities of us as leaders is to create a pace in our organizations that helps us to be effective as a company. And the leader's pace at which he lives usually gives the cue for the rest of the people to follow him. And I've seen many companies having a pace that does not help them to fulfill their calling and their potential. And in my journey in trying to find out what is it that creates this lack of pace, I was caught unawares by the fact that most of the time the reason why people don't have the right pace is not because they don't try hard enough or because they don't have the right skills. I've discovered something that released a huge amount of tension in systems the moment that people consistently and regularly address this issue. And in one of my conversations with one of the people that work for me, I realized that the reason why we don't have the right pace is because we don't have enough quality finish lines as a company. You see, a leader in his being usually wants to chase after something. There's something calling for you, something you're running after, something you're pressing into. And you'll keep on going for the fulfillment of reaching that goal and that vision without realizing that without the right amount of finish lines and breaks in between, you'll tire your people down. And I realize as a leader, I have to learn how to ask the right questions for my people so that they can elevate their thinking to a new level. And the quality of the questions you ask your people will determine the quality of their thinking in your organization. And I imported a question into many of my one-on-ones with my personnel, and I would ask them, when was the last time that you realized, I am now inspired? And regularly I realize that my people don't have enough downtime to have enough margin in their diaries to become inspired by life. And it's so critical for you as a leader to be someone that say, do I ask my people enough? When were you last inspired? You see, true inspiration comes from the inside. It's when there's something within a human being that they have to offer meets with reality. That's a need. But you won't know what's inside here if you don't press the pause button, sit down and ask the question, what inspires me? Inspiration happens in between the finish line and the get-go again. And you as a leader need to create a culture where your people know where the finish lines are in your organization. You need to be able to create a culture where you regularly press the pause button and say, let's celebrate what has been achieved. It's in those pause moments that your people become inspired again. And as you create environments where people know it's time to celebrate, it's time to pause, it's time to reflect, it's time to feed on what has been accomplished, you create a higher sense of urgency to reach the goals you've set. And then they come back to the office or the workspace with fuel in their hearts, with inspiration in their hearts, and they'll engage with a higher speed than they've left the office. It's sometimes good just to ask yourself as a leader, when was the last time I was inspired? The weight of everything that lands on your table as a leader can sometimes bear you down and tire you down, and you need to rise from your table and say, it's time to press the pause button and I'm going to get inspired again. So I want to ask you as a leader, when was the last time you felt inspired by what you are busy with? Never enter the office space, because your morale as a leader needs your utmost joy and fulfillment in what you do, and never arrive in the office space without the sense of inspiration and fulfillment that you're there. So my question to you as a leader is, how regularly do you press the pause button and get inspired? How regularly do you say, it's time to get quiet and just connect with what's inside of me, and ask this question, is what's inside of me connecting with what's the need outside of me? And in that connection, there's inspiration. So you as a leader, make sure that you pick up the pace by slowing the pace. That you pick up the pace by pressing the pause button and saying, I'm going to put in certain finish lines for us as a company, as a family, as a unit of people, and we are going to send people out to celebrate the successes of the past and just let them pause and be inspired again. You'll realize that the more you do that, the more the pace will pick up in your organization. Because people chase after the next celebration. They know if we put in speed now, we can create a new celebration. And people love celebrating what has been achieved. Leader, when was the last time that you were truly inspired? Let that inspiration pick up your pace.